I think you.
So let's talk about this story.
Wait, we didn't talk about your first impression.
Yeah, we did it first.
Okay, we did first. Yeah,
Yeah, it was Predestined.
yeah.
So the story that, and unlike Primer, I got this one locked down. This one's really easy. The story, the main A story, is about finding this random. What do they call them? It's a bomb. Some
Fizzle
terrorist, the Fizzle bomber.
I feel like that's kind of like
To prevent a
third of
bombing
the way
that
in,
happened.
right?
Well, no, that's the very start too. There's a bomb going off in Grand Central Station.
Well, is it the bomb that blows up in his face?
Yeah.
He's right.
Happens in
Michael's
1975, but for some reason, whenever they go back into 1975, they can't prevent it from happening. Whatever time agency the government has that came from the Space Force of 2014.
Which was extremely advanced, apparently.
Apparently extremely advanced to have a time device in a violin case for some reason.
Yeah.
To which, short gripe, real quick.
Okay.
They introduce Ethan Hawke's character as the violinist, but his script name is the barkeep. So what's that about?
I don't know. Let's ask the director.
Let's ask the director. Director Michael Spierig. Spierig.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Yeah, guy, what's that about? Reach out. Leave a comment.
Yeah.
Come on the podcast.
What's going on there? Is he the violinist or is he the barkeep? Or is he actually the...
Michael would like to talk to you about how to properly write a movie.
Just to put more subtleties in there, man. Come on.
Yeah.
It works. You were right. It puts itself in a nice little box, but it's not subtle at all. Yeah. Like I said, the beginnings, the violinist maybe, the beginning trying to stop the bomb, and then the bomb goes off, burns their face, and then somebody else kicks the case towards them, and they go back in time or to the future or whatever.
Yeah, and
Back to the Future.
And the movie seemingly jumps from Ethan Hawke's character, the barkeep, to some random orphan girl.
Yeah, well, that's after the face gets reconstructed,
right,
and heals.
So that's what I'm saying. It goes from that.
Yeah. So we start out. We start out with this weird sci-fi ish all of this stuff is happening, and then he just ends up in a bar as a barkeeper. It's it's my first day.
Yeah,
and this man at the bar who does not sound like a man,
kind of looks like one.
Is oh, I write stories under the pseudonym The Unmarried Mother or something. Yeah, as The Unmarried Mother.
Yeah, I mean they try to have, the barkeep tries to have, small talk, and the unmarried mother is not really having it.
Yeah.
Kind of very sharp and
the unmarried mother is very
upset.
Aggressive and is you want a good story, I'll tell you a good story.
Oh,
it
so
goes
cocky
through,
too.
Yeah.
I've got the best story.
It goes through their life story.
In which we don't know that yet. We don't know it's their life story yet.
Yeah, it is, because it's them talking about all the things that happened to them up to that point.
Well, it's not their. We don't know that it's their shared life story yet. Except you did. I didn't.
Well, I said there as a progressive, not giving them.
Oh, gotcha. I missed it because
my apologies.
I'm old and stuck in my old ways.
Yeah,
understanding words.
So he talks about his life story,
right,
where he was born a woman.
Yes,
grew up in an orphanage, never got adopted.
Was always kind of
very smart.
Yes, and a lot stronger than the other girls.
Yeah, and never
felt like they
never dated, never did anything. Ended up wanting to work with not NASA, but government agency about space.
Yeah,
not NASA.
They kind of came in, and I guess they heard about her. Someone recommended her as hey, interview this person.
And so they were like, sure, we'll bring her in, and then
she was like, yeah, I want to do something that matters.
Yeah. Met some mystery man in the course of trying to be a part of this weird program for women.
Clandestine.
Yeah,
type.
This man that she cannot remember his face, his voice, or anything else. Subtleties, because that doesn't ring any alarms in my brain. And gets pregnant by this man that she cannot remember for some reason.
Well, wait. Before that, though, she goes through a bunch of training.
Yeah. I feel like you're missing some of the things I'm saying.
Maybe
I'm saying
not,
them.
No, I felt like you jumped through.
Yeah,
time.
I said she was part of this program, and she was training to be a part of it. And
but you're talking about the man that she got pregnant with. But like, what I was trying to say was that I feel like there was a lot of like her going through a bunch of like interviews, training with these other women, and kind of she makes it to a point where she gets into a physical fight with another girl.
Yeah, and they get kicked out of the program.
Well, she had to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
And when they treated her medically,
yeah, you're right. Well, that's when we learned that she was pregnant.
Well, no, that's
is pregnant.
No,
was pregnant. Something happens there.
No,
they're like, you're pregnant, or you were pregnant when you had the baby.
I don't know. I forget.
I don't think the fight is what caused her to go to the hospital. I think she had to go to the hospital, and they were like, "Yeah, you had a baby," and she woke up randomly. They were like, "Yeah, we had to get the baby out, but the baby's fine, and also, by the way, you have both sets of genitals."
She had
and
both parts. She was back in both parts.
The getting the baby out tore up so much that we have to turn you into a man now.
Yeah,
for some medical reason.
They had to remove. They had to basically do a hysterectomy, all the lady parts.
Yeah.
All that's left were male parts.
Yeah. Yes. Correct. You are correct in the way. Which also doesn't ring any alarm bells, thematically. I'm leaving the spoiler part for later, just so you know.
All right.
But it rings a lot of alarm bells. Yeah. And so all of the surgery happens. She's now a man. Goes by the name John.
Where originally...
But it was Jane before, but now it's John.
So Jane and John Doe, because when she was delivered to the orphanage...
Yeah, she didn't have a name.
She didn't have a name. They just called her Jane.
Yeah, they just called her Jane. And then changed it to John because, very original. And then the baby, who doesn't have a name, that gets kidnapped after all the surgeries were completed.
Yeah, because the baby
just disappears.
Born, and then was in...
Which also doesn't give off any alarm bells that they can't find the baby no matter what. Just disappeared off the face of the earth. And so this unmarried mother goes through a bunch of hardships, tries to find jobs, goes and works for that agency, or tries to go and work for that agency again, but they said no.
Yeah.
Worked as a fry cook.
Started to enjoy being
just a person.
A man.
Yeah.
Like getting attention from the ladies.
Yeah. And then as the story ends, we get the other big red alarm bell that should be ringing off in your head when you hear it, that the surgery was apparently so successful that he is now fertile, which does not happen, I don't think, normally. Pretty chill.
I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor either. I just don't. I could be wrong, but that one was also like that's weird. I don't see how that's possible, but okay, I guess.
I mean, I don't know all the things that go into being born with both parts and being able to choose one. I think so. They just said that with all the treatment, the testosterone treatment, and other stuff, that now he was fertile.
So Ethan Hawke is a bit smug now, and it's like, well, I'm trying to find this guy trying to bomb a place. You're trying to find somebody who stole your baby. What if they're the same person? Yeah. What if I told you I could guarantee that you'd catch that person?
Yeah, that's that really obvious wink at the camera. With sirens and
big alarm bells. There's like 4 or 5 fire trucks coming down the street on that one.
Yeah, they're all yelling at you specifically about this one thing.
Yeah, just me. And so Ethan Hawke's like, "Here, come with me, random person. Let me take you to my secret basement where I keep my time travel device."
Well, yeah, he was at because so the actor
is she
playing
Sarah
Snook. and Ethan Hawke.
Who we now know as John.
John,
the unmarried mother.
One of the things that happens is he very smugly says, "Now tell me that's not the best story you've ever heard." And then he's kind of like, it's all right. And then he to himself said, "What do you mean it's just okay?" Like, and he's like, "Follow me. Follow me into this stranger into this dark basement.
If you want to find out,
I'll show you something.
If you want to catch the guy who took your kid, I think we'll."
Well,
and then they said, "How can you be so sure?" And he said, "Because I have a feeling that they're the same person."
Well, it wasn't. So he wasn't upset that the baby was stolen. He was upset that his heart got broken by that person and ruined his life. Basically,
yeah. He wanted to catch the person.
Got him pregnant.
Yeah,
when he was
a woman.
Her. And then just
I promise this movie
dry.
This movie does not do a good job of more sensitive subjects.
Yeah.
It's just like, Ian, this is happening now. Yeah. And you're just like, okay.
I tracked with it, though.
It makes sense. It's just like
it's
a
hard
bit
to use your words to explain
weird.
It.
Sybil said, hearing us describe it feels like we're going to get canceled, which it kind of tracks.
I mean, watch the movie. You decide for yourself.
It's the movie, not us. I'm going to be real honest. Like, I am giving you the information as it was given to us.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's weird. And
but
a bit,
I guess,
like, off.
I guess it could be like quoting someone who can say the N-word. But saying it yourself as not.
Maybe don't make that argument right now. Maybe we don't make this argument.
I'm just quoting them.
Maybe we don't.
No. But
I just love listening to rap in my car.
I do.
I get very into it.
And so the motivation is that person, that man, swept me off my feet, got me pregnant,
and just
disappeared, quite literally,
and
ruined my
John
life.
believes that would also be the person who stole the kid, which is. I mean, I don't remember that. Correct. Part, but it was a one-off line.
Okay. And so
the only person I think that could steal the kid would be him.
And so because of how he disappeared. So the barkeep, Ethan Hawke, is saying like
introduces John to time travel, I guess.
Yeah, it's like, hey, if I could put you in front of this person, would you kill them if you could get away with it?
I said yes.
Absolutely, without a doubt, I will 100% murder this person.
But how can you be so sure? It's like just a feeling.
Yeah, which is also just like
guaranteed feeling. Yeah. So they go back in time.
Yeah, and you start to see because there's some specific things mentioned. Oh, when I met this guy, he was rich. He had all kinds of money in his pocket.
Yeah.
He knew, literature and poems and stuff and quoted
things that only I've ever known.
Yeah. And stuff like that. Like said the things that, and so when he introduces himself that we know in the future, well, you knew right off the bat, which I didn't. So I guess I'm just speaking for me. Is that
there's a bunch of people?
Yeah, he introduces
that also like roller coasters.
Yeah, he introduces John to time travel. Mm-hmm. As soon as they time travel, he gives John a big wad of cash.
Yeah,
and says, "Hey, this is where you're gonna be at this place.
This is from my employer. Use it for whatever. They don't care. If
you
need more, let me know.
Yeah, and then you're gonna meet this person at this time."
Mm-hmm.
Take it away.
And that person at that time was her from the past. Oh my goodness! And they hit it off really easily, and it's like crazy because oh my god, who could have seen that coming?
Obviously, she swept herself.
Yeah, obviously,
because she knows how she was thinking in that
moment.
And
she's definitely not weirded out by herself being attracted to herself, but knowing that that's what's happening now.
The only man to be able to completely, fully understand a woman's mind in the moment.
Yeah, the female gaze, if you will, is just themselves. My wife's nodding her head. And so they hit it off and whatever, and there comes a point at which she's going to have to disappear out of her life after getting her pregnant.
Yeah,
which is also weird.
They start. I guess. I mean,
I guess John
in the timeline, you just have to call it a fling because it wasn't. I don't feel like
it was a fling.
Long.
Yeah,
but in reality, you could say that they had a relationship.
Yeah,
and so at least that's how it felt to both.
John shows back up to Ethan Hawke and is like, "You son of a bitch."
Yeah,
it's like and makes the joke is like, "Oh, you have no idea."
Oh yeah. That's one of many lines that's just like,
yes, you have no idea.
Oh yeah, something like, "Oh, my own mother wouldn't recognize my face, and he was literally staring into his mother's eyes, which was his own eyes.
Yeah.
And then
spoilers, by the way.
Oh yeah, spoilers.
If you haven't caught on by now, they're all the same person.
Yeah. And so there was something else too. I forget that.
There's one more spoiler, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, that he said, but that was one of those. Is like, oh,
sorry, two more spoilers. I already said one though, but
yeah. So basically, so Barkeep shows up and says, "Hey, you've got to go now."
Yeah,
and
they're like, "No, I'm not leaving her." So you already did.
Yeah, well, and that was so. Sorry, I forgot, and I was just trying to fill the space till I remembered, and I just now remembered. So there was something that that John said in the bar at the table. So going back a little bit, John said, "I don't even remember how I looked back then."
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
It shows up as like, you are the most beautiful, and somebody should have told you that.
And so when he saw himself as a female, he was like, wow, I didn't know that you were that beautiful.
Yeah. Crazy charisma.
which she
had never been told
had
that.
Never felt that or been told that before. So you could obviously, as well as with, obviously they have the same interests and same thoughts. So
that's all it takes, by the way, fellas.
Yeah.
Just tell her she's beautiful once. That's all it takes.
And read her mind all the time. And always say the right things and never do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And you will have her heart forever.
Forever. She might not even remember your face.
Yeah.
But you'll have her heart forever.
Yeah. So that was a thing that I wanted to mention, is that was also one of those like lines that was thrown in.
Yeah, it was
like, hey,
a little one-off line.
Is that John said, I don't even remember what I look like. And so that kind of helps play into the, oh, well.
So Ethan Hawke takes John to the place.
Yeah, well, yeah. So basically,
John and Jane are on a CIA or whatever.
Well, John and Jane are on a park bench and they're talking. And then Barkeep shows up and says, hey, we need to talk.
Yeah,
and
you got to go.
Says, yeah, and he says, hey, I'll be right back. Mm-hmm. You know,
the last thing that was told before. Yeah,
makes all kinds of crazy promises.
Yeah,
I'll be with you forever, and then
classic man move.
Yeah, classic male making promises he can't keep, and then so
learns that he's fertile one day, and then starts making promises he can't keep.
I know, gets a girl pregnant, and then just up and leaves.
Do it.
Classic male.
Yep.
And so yeah, so Barkeep shows up and says, like, we really have to go, like, right now. No, I'm not leaving here. I'm never. Well, yeah, we are.
You already did.
Yeah, it's too late. It already happened. So
yeah,
the loop must continue. And so then they leave, and then
it ends up at the government agency for time travel, and just leaves him there to basically get trained by them, because they're the same person. While that's happening,
yep,
Barkeep Ethan Hawke goes and steals the baby.
Yeah, he goes to the hospital,
sets the baby on sets the baby on a little journey, sends him off to the orphanage. We learn that they're all the same person.
Yeah.
Mother, son, mother, daughter, father, Ethan Hawke, all the same.
Yeah.
All the same
mother,
person.
Father, daughter. It's they're all one and the same person.
Yep. And where we hear the government guy tell Ethan Hawke that he's the perfect person for the job because he's the only person that lives as a predestination paradox
and is outside of time, so they can't.
Yeah, so there's no way to.
So they cannot, like a normal person, like in Primer, could affect the timeline and change things.
Yeah.
This person cannot. They can do work and not change anything that's supposed to be what it is.
Yeah, which makes them the perfect person for the job, which is why John had to go at that time to go be trained so that it continues the cycle properly, because he's already in the cycle. Ethan Hawke gets a little weirded out. He's like, but after my job's done, what do I do? What does my future look like? And they're like, well, I mean, it's technically already predetermined, but that's for you to find out, I guess. And so Ethan Hawke goes into retirement. And his time machine's supposed to stop working, but it doesn't.
Yeah, and because of the amount of time travel does messes with your body and your brain.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah, so he has to retire at a certain point,
which we know is true from watching Primer. When after going through the past and forward, their ears started bleeding and all this other stuff. So
they were living.
It's true.
36-hour days.
Yeah, it's accurate.
Yeah,
according to Primer.
Mm-hmm. So Ethan Hawke, after his device gets decommissioned, and then it actually doesn't get decommissioned, what does he do? He continues to do stuff because who wouldn't? Because that's all he ever is known to do. You know, he sets himself up for retirement, but he sets himself up for retirement the day of the explosion. As and I thought that was a neat thing because I'll give it to the movie for that one. It was neat because if he had done his job correctly, he can live knowing that it was done correctly.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't, he's gone.
Yep.
Which I thought was neat. I thought it was a neat little thing. It's like an earned retirement at that point.
Yeah.
But they were getting onto some clues about like the trigger device and where everything was bought and where the person does the fizzle bomber does their laundry. Yeah. And Ethan Hawke sat there and was like, "I know I'm retired, but what if I just went?"
Did we already talk about the lines where they claimed that each other was a fizzle bomber?
No, but that did happen.
They did, yeah.
It's like, well, what if you're the fizzle bomber?
Yeah, because
I don't know. What if you are?
Before John was introduced to time travel, they talked about the fizzle bomber name. They're like, "Oh, I don't like that name," and then John was kind of like, "Well, I would blah blah blah," and then
I said, "How do we know you're not the fizzle bomber?"
Yeah, and then
how do I know you're not?
Like, "Are you the fizzle bomber?" And then John was like, "No, maybe you are." Yeah. It's just like another one of those lines that, like, when you rewatch it, and if you were, oblivious like I was, that's one of those ones that you pick up on the second rewatch. Yeah. And you're like, "Oh my gosh, of course, they're both the fizzle bomber."
It's supposed to come off, and I believe with all my heart that the writer-director wanted those lines to come across as clever.
To me, they were.
They're cute.
Yeah.
They're cute.
Yeah.
They're fun when you do a second watch and you're like, "Oh, haha, yeah."
For me,
I get it. It's
it's not catching it the first time. The second watch was like, "Oh my gosh, I wish telling me the whole time."
I wouldn't say the dialogue is clever. I just think it's cute. I don't think it is clever. I just think
I'll take cute.
Yeah. Good.
Nothing wrong with cuteness.
No.
Some would prefer it, actually.
Anyways, the last bit of the movie is where I honestly have the biggest problem with the narrative plot. But
yes.
Ethan Hawke shows up to the laundromat, and oh my God, the fizzle bomber! Who would have guessed? It's him.
Wait, there's a whole other thing where he meets somebody and gets married.
Does he get married? I thought he just meets her.
I don't know. I think they get married. The typewriter lady.
I think you're inserting yourself into that one there.
No.
You wanted to marry the typewriter lady.
Well, she was cute.
She shows up as to show. Okay. She shows up as like a he could just live a normal life if he wanted to.
Yeah.
And then he shows up to the laundromat, and it's himself there, and he goes, "Ha! I'm the fizzle bomber. If you were, we could, yeah, we could do this together and never have a problem ever again." And Ethan Hawke goes, "No, I'll never do that. You ruined my life." And he's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Go back to the typewriter lady, get married, have a couple of kids, and live a fucking life? Yeah, good luck with that, pal."
Yeah, because he knows it doesn't work out.
Yeah, and Ethan Hawke,
because he's further in the future than Barkeep.
Yeah, and Ethan Hawke's like, "No, I'll never become you." Bang.
Shoots him.
And
shoots him dead.
That's the movie.
Yeah, that's the movie. Sure enough, his path continues to be the fizzle bomber.
Yeah.
He just takes his place.
That's my biggest problem. My biggest problem with the movie is that if you have a bootstrap paradox, you got to do something with it, dude. You can't just be like, "Yep, and you're always destined to live in this cycle forever." It's not interesting narratively to do that.
Well, I mean, but you can't break it because then it's not the loop anymore.
Well, that's kind of the point of having a bootstrap paradox in a movie, is to give the character an opportunity to break out of it or come to terms with the fact that that's what they're always going to be.
I guess, but I think that's one of those things where if that's your expectations, congratulations, subverted. Just like The Last Jedi.
But we're back to this problem, Jarvis. What's the point of the movie if there's no conclusion, if there's no growth, if there's no change? It's the same problem with Primer.
Well, I would just say that it's sometimes about the journey and not the destination or the predestination.
I saw it coming. I could hear it.
Come on.
I could hear it yesterday.
I'm bringing you gold. Oh my god.
Hey, full-time MFers, you like this video? We sure did. If you liked it, maybe you should share it with your friends. Maybe like the video and subscribe.
If we were you, that's what we would do. If I was watching this,
I'd be all over that.
Like, and I'd hit that share, and then I would hit that subscribe in that order.
Yeah. There's also another video that's popped up. YouTube thinks you like this one, so you should watch that one now.
See you next time.